Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, my soapies. Yes, we got to talk about, I guess, some of the things that happened on both The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for October 3rd. I'm going to wait for some folks to get in here, and then we'll go ahead and jump into this discussion and talk about what happened on both of today's episodes. So, hopefully you're having a wonderful Friday Eve. We are inching closer and closer to the end of the week. Hey, Tommy Smith. Hey, Myra. I'm doing well. How about yourself, Tommy? Hey, Angela, Aisha, Indigo Blue, Melissa Spencer. Who else? Yes, let's go ahead and come on in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, you guys. As we talk about, it was, I don't know. I know last night when we were on midday, a midweek chat, I should say, I heard that the episode was going to be pretty good, but I don't know. For Young and the Restless, it was okay, I think I liked Tuesday's episode better, in my opinion. But that's just me. Hey, Tamika. Hey, Marion. Belinda Hill. Happy Thursday. Yes, welcoming you guys. Yeah, Janet, it was, I agree. Hey, Bobby Wright and Karen Neal. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome. Tommy, you loving the Facebook group? Awesome. Hey, Vicky. Okay, how many likes we got? We got 8 likes, you guys. Let's see if we can get the chat, get the likes up. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off with The Young and the Restless today. I'm going to go ahead and get the whole situation with Heather out the way. It was a very bad, very sad situation. Daniel had to break the news. Obviously, he talked to Phyllis. Phyllis went over to the coffee house, had a conversation with Nick. She told Nick that Heather was found in the river as well. And so they had a pretty interesting conversation that, of course, Sharon walked in on. And she is, looking like, what's going on up in there? I mean, what did you expect? Sharon, Nicholas have a relationship and children with both of you. Or I say, he has children with you, but he has a child with Phyllis too. So, of course, he's going to feel some kind of way about, not just you, but her too, especially with what Phyllis is going through. And he was like, I'm going to be there for you. So I don't know what Cameron was trying to tell you, that you were going to get some sort of a life back with with Nicholas. Well, Nick is always going to be put on his cape and be Captain Save 'em. That include any of his exes. And it wouldn't surprise me that if Sally was going through something, he'll be over there for her too. But now, Sharon, you're going to have to, because of what happened, and it would have been even worse if it was Daniel. If it was Daniel, it would have been even worse. So I can imagine her feeling this way because it's Heather. But if it was Daniel, oh yeah, Nick would have been all over the situation with Phyllis. So I don't know if this is going to work in your favor based on the thoughts that she had. But we had that going on today, and then we saw that very sad scene where Daniel had to break the news to Lucy, and that was triggering for me because I had to do the same thing when I had got the news about my children's dad. When he passed, I had to break that news to him, so I'm like, oof, that's one of the hardest things to do. And just like, the reaction that Lucy had, it took me back to the same situation, that my kids had when I had to break the news to them. So it was a heartbreaking moment to watch. And then of course Lucy did not want to believe it. And she was like, maybe it could be this and maybe it could be that. And Daniel said, no, I actually went down and I had to identify. Hi, Carol. Welcome in. Hey, Tamika. Hey, Jenna. Yeah, I know. And Vera Bloom actually did an interview. I think she said she found out 3 weeks before that, Sharon was going to end the Heather character. So, yeah, she is out. Now, she might pop in, like Cameron Kirsten is doing, to haunt Sharon's brain or something, if Sharon is thinking about it. So maybe, because she did mention something in her interview about the fact that, even though I'm not per se on contract for the character, you might not see the end of her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. And Melissa, hey, who knows? Anything's possible in the soap. Adam has come back 4 times. We've had multiple people come back. So, Diane came back. So, anything is possible. But that was a very sad scene. And then Sharon has to deal with her guilt. She actually had to look Lucy and Daniel in the face and talking about her apologies and this is my fault. And, and she about to give herself away. Even when she had the conversation with Nick. And Nick was like, how is this your fault? And she was like, well, it's my fault because of all the mess and I was mean to her. And then she was like, well, maybe it's not my fault. And he's looking like, what is wrong with you? So it was a pretty sad scene. But when it comes to Sharon, I don't think she's going to last long. She's about to lose it. And Cameron Kirsten is trying to tell her, girl, you got to keep it together. Because if you don't, you're about to go to jail for the rest of your life. The question is, how long can she keep up this facade? Yeah, I mean, Aisha, she's trying to cover herself. Tommy says Sharon do need to go to jail. Yeah, I mean, Myra, you are right. She let it slip how Heather was found. And obviously, Nick was giving her a bombastic side eye. Like, wait a minute. What you just say? Yeah, so Sharon, I mean, she's not thinking straight, obviously, which is going to blow up in her face. The question is how. It's not when or if, it's how. So it's going to be interesting. And, I kind of want to get to I thought we was going to get to the end of it when everything happened during Sharon's anniversary. But Michelle Stafford has a 30-year anniversary coming up in a couple weeks as well. So more than likely they're tying this storyline into both these anniversaries. So that doesn't surprise me. So maybe we won't really get into this thing to maybe the end of the month. Who knows? I don't know. But obviously, I really don't want this to interrupt what Phyllis got going on with Abbott Chancellor. Because speaking of that, we had a conversation with Victor and Lily in this episode. And they're trying to figure out a way, because Lily is being impatient. She's like, look, you're going to need to take Billy off the throne like now, because I want that seat. And unbeknownst to her, she ain't getting that seat. She's going to be singing and dancing all the way down to the unemployment office with Audra. However, she figured out a way to try to be on the inside of Abbott Chancellor. And the way that she's going to think about doing it is trying to undermine Phyllis somehow. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I don't know how this is going to work. Whether Lily's going to use, because right now, Phyllis and her family is going through a bad situation right now, okay? And if Lily finds out that Heather has just passed away, and will she actually be ruthless enough to try to interfere with Phyllis while she's trying to support her son and actually try to help by being the COO at Abbott Chancellor? That's going to be interesting to see whether or not Lily kind of back off a little bit because of what Phyllis is going through. And who knows, if Daniel is the next to be attacked, Phyllis is going to be devastated. And I'm hoping that Lily hasn't stooped to this level to use the demise of somebody and the situation that they're in to take advantage. But you know what? I'm not tripping about it because she's going to get what's coming to her. You know what I'm saying? So, Jenna said Lily could use Audra and try to unseat Phyllis. I mean, I don't know. This is going, because that's the first thing I thought about with what Daniel is going through. And especially her granddaughter has just lost her mom. Phyllis is in Mama Bear protect mode right now. And so I'm hoping that she doesn't let Lily slide in like the snake that she's trying to be right now and undermine her while she's struggling with this with her family. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm not feeling this whole thing. And, you know, Victor's looking this woman dead in her face knowing that he promised that position to his wife. It just sucks that Lily is going so deep into this mess, not realizing that she don't even have the job. And what is Lily going to think she's going to do? You can't sue Victor. You know, you can't sue Victor by saying, well, you promised me to give me that position over at Abbott Chancellor, but you gave it to his wife. What did you expect him to do? I mean, yeah, this whole thing is crazy. Cynthia says this storyline is unusual to celebrate Sharon's anniversary on the show. I guess she really wants that Emmy. That episode that she did on September 26th was her Emmy reel. And her anniversary actually on the show, she came in the Sharon character on September 14th, 1994. So she had already hit her 30th in the middle of September, but the episode did not air into that last week of September. So, yeah, that she also, I guess, wanted to create that Emmy reel, and that September 26th episode was her Emmy reel, in my opinion, at least. So, I guess that's how they wanted to do it. I was wondering if they were going to bring up Paul. I can't skip over that part, which is that corner picture at the right side bottom, where, you know, Daniel had to break the news to Paul about his only child. I think he had one child left, which is Dylan with Nikki. But his other son is gone. The guy that was like, I don't know, I think he had issues, but he ended up self-deleting. And then now Heather is gone. And the only child he have left is Dylan. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring Doug Davison back. I've been seeing things, but I don't know how true it is. You know, the gossip reels can be really interesting, but you don't know until you actually hear it from the network. So, but I was wondering if they were going to even play, pretend like he's talking to, Paul and the phone calls and things like that. So we'll see how they, bring Paul into this situation, if anything. I know. This is when, Jan, you are absolutely right. We love Doug Davison as Paul for so many years. And to have him, this would be a good point to bring him back for this whole storyline with Heather. Then we have the conversation over at Society where, this is where we see Billy putting his plan in motion. And Victoria did not like it one bit. And the way that Billy kind of pushed the narrative was that, your grandfather is the bad guy and he's coming after me. And I just want to make you guys aware so you're not shocked about anything. And of course, the kids is now feeling some kind of way about their grandfather. And, yeah, Victoria didn't like that at all. Victoria was like, hey, you didn't have to make their granddad look like the villain. And Billy is like, well, he is. I was minding my own business. I'm trying to keep my mom's company in order, and your father is coming after me. And she was like, well, there's a lot more going on with it. Okay, well, you need to tell me. And she won't do it. She's not going to tell him, of course, because that puts him in. He was like, well, you better prepare for war, because if you don't tell me what's going on, then I got to get on the defense. Because your dad is coming after me hard. And so I don't care about your feelings right now. And I know I said some things to make, the kids see what it is. But it is what it is. And he was telling the truth. I know, daycare with kids, he is the villain. Victor is the villain. I don't know why Victoria want to make it look like, Billy, you can end this. Just take the money. And Billy's like, wait, hold on. You want me to just give my mom's company over to your dad just to keep the peace with the kids? No. That is a no with a hard pass. And Billy is not backing down. And I don't understand why Victoria, she's talking about, well, this is just a business move, just like any other business move. He was like, well, unfortunately, I'm going to pass on that deal. It's no deal. Now you can, we can manage these kids together. You can tell me what else is that I'm missing as part of this story. Otherwise, prepare for war, because I'm not going to back down from your father. So Victoria need to take several seats. Number one, you shouldn't have put that off on the table. And number two, you need to take accountability of the fact that your father is doing what he's doing. This is not Billy. This is your dad. Your dad is coming after him. It's not the other way around. He was minding his own business. Victor don't like that Jill gave him the company. Victor also don't like that Phyllis is now over there thanks to Lily giving him that information. And he's talking about, well, I used to own the company. Well, guess what? You gave it back to Jill. I mean, you can't take backsies because you don't like who the leadership is over there. You gave it back to her. You don't control something after you give it away. So just chill out. And Lily, you can, hey, Audra is on her way down to the unemployment office. Maybe you can catch up with her and hitch a ride. Maybe y'all can do a ride share right to the unemployment office, because you're making a fool out of yourself right now. And that's what she get. Belinda says, did you see the look on Victoria's face when Johnny asked why Victor was against him? Yep. And Victoria knows the truth. I don't know why she want to play like, don't do that to my dad. You're making him look bad. And it's like, no, Victoria, he's doing this to himself. And because it's Billy Abbott, their grandfather is coming after their father's company. So, because they are Abbotts too, and I mean, whatever legacy they're going to get, it ain't just Newman. They're Abbotts as well. So, Melissa says, you read where the autopsy on Heather said that she was drowned doesn't mean that she still had to be alive when Sharon threw her in the river. We're going to have to see how this all play out. I just need it to come to a head. But I think they're tying in both, like I said earlier, both the anniversaries in together. Both Sharon cases and Melissa and Michelle Stafford. Yeah, Lily said Phyllis is protective of Billy. But here's my thing, LaShanta, is with everything going on with Heather and Daniel right now, is she going to be able to stay focused or multitask with everything that's going on? Because I don't know. Lily got some plan to use Phyllis to get what they want. And Phyllis right now is, she got a whole other situation trying to deal with, the Heather and her granddaughter, Lucy. She trying to make sure she's good. So she in mama bear mode. Yeah, I can't wait. Dolores Stewart, I can't wait till Jill get back as well. I really want to see how that dynamic is going to look when Jill comes back to town. So if I had to give it a grade today, I will give it a C plus. I'm going to give it a C plus. Yeah, I mentioned that already, Gail, that her anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks. Yep. So I give it a C plus. It's average. A lot of emotions going on, of course. But I guess the interesting part that really stuck out to me is that conversation with the kids and Lily being stupid. But that had to be heartbreaking for Daniel to not only break the news to his, to his daughter, but also break the news to Heather's father, Paul. Yep. All right. Moving on. Bold and the Beautiful. So today, to me, I was when Steffy was still in that office talking, I'm like, don't tell me Brooke is still in there for a third episode this week. But it was now Hope. And so Hope is kind of, I guess with the whole conversation we saw earlier this week and late last week between her and Carter, she got a little bit of optimism because she told Steffy, she was like, look, I ain't checking for him. That ain't going to ever happen again what I did with Finn before. So you ain't got to worry about me. When I got 6 foot plus, I don't know how tall Lawrence St. Victor is, but I know he got to be well over 6 feet. I got this tall, dark, handsome, abs for days, muscles for days, with the tight sweater, checking for me. Finn who? Girl, I don't want your man. And so Steffy is like, yeah, I don't believe you. Well, believe it. Because right now she got a little bit of optimism, hope like anybody that gives her attention. And it was interesting. Steffy said, you won't be single for long. You a Logan. There'll be somebody else you hit your wagon to. And then of course we saw the scene between Carter and Hope. And first we had a conversation with Carter and Brooke, which is in that lower right corner, where Carter want to combine Hope for the Future with the bedroom line. And I'm like, how are you going to do that? So are you going to try to change some of her lingerie pieces? Well, blending the two together obviously is going to put Hope in some lingerie, I'm assuming. Especially since we're coming off of that whole thing where he's talking about how he wants, he's wishing to see her in lingerie or whatever. Yeah, I know, LaShanta. LaShanta said Hope can't be without a man like Brooke, Melissa said this Taylor. Oh, we'll get to that. I don't want to. I'm trying to take one storyline at a time. I don't want to jump all over the place. But yeah, he's trying. He really. I'm surprised that he put that on the table. I would think he would have to, present that to the CEOs. You making deals with Brooke behind closed doors, and I'm like, do you think Steffy and Ridge are going to be okay with that? I mean, you the COO, you're not the CEO. I mean, you can put ideas on the table, but I think you got to get the answer from the people at the top. So we'll see if they actually approve that. You know what I mean? Oh, Cynthia says Steffy called Hope a 304 with a smile. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Janet, you said Carter would never be Thomas. You're absolutely correct. Both of them know how to put it down in the bedroom separately. Thomas got his own style with what we saw with Hope, and Carter got his own style with what we saw with Quinn. So they both know how to work a bedroom. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing where this could go. And we also saw Carter ask Hope out on a date, which is different. So let's break this down. So when Thomas and Hope got together last summer with the whole kiss in Rome and what happened in Rome, stay in Rome, and the awakening, Hope and Thomas was all about sex. When he would want to go out to eat or go on dates, they would never go on dates. She was like, I'd rather have you right here, right now. And then we get scenes in the design room or in the CEO office. They didn't get to date each other. We didn't see dates until toward the end, right before Thomas and Douglas left, where Douglas put the little meal together at Thomas's house. That was the last time we actually seen like a date. Now, when they were in Rome, they were sashaying around Rome, but that was probably maybe the only time we really seen them outside of the bedroom. But Carter started out the right way. You know, let's talk about your line over lunch. And I'm like, okay. I'm a sucker for romance. That's why I watch a lot of dating and romance and marriage shows. And I like the progression leading to a relationship, which is, I want to ask you out on a date. I want to take you out on a date. Let's see how the date goes. Let's see if we have a connection. And it leads to date number 2 and 3 and whatever, until it grows into something and seeing where it can go. Exactly, Angela. Is just not that. You know what I mean? It's just not under the sheets type of thing. So for Carter to actually say, hey, you know what? Let's go have some lunch together. And she was like, okay, we could do that. I like that progression. I mean, I'm not knocking the awakening we saw in the July 10th, 2023 week with Hope and Thomas. That was hot to death, okay? However, I do like the romance piece of it. There's different type of foreplay. So you have the foreplay in the bedroom, but they also have the dating foreplay. Let's go out on a date. Let's hold hands. Let's sit across the table and talk and connect and look into each other's eyes and, things like that. I like that type of dating foreplay as well. You know what I'm saying? Where it leads up to something sweet. And so in order for us to see that he's want to take her out on a date, I'll take you out to lunch at your dad's restaurant. So now he's trying to make it, put notice on the table. Pops, I'm interested in your daughter. So I kind of like that. That's just me. I don't know about anybody else. And, we've gotten away from that on the soaps. We've gotten away from a lot of romance and anything on the soaps. You know what I mean, guys? So I would be interested in seeing that. All right. We had this conversation. I got double pictures on there. I should have removed that and replaced it with something else. I'm like, am I seeing duplicates? I am. I put 2 pictures of the same. We do also have the storyline with Katie and Bill. Katie is like, you know what, that's never going to happen again. He actually put a makeshift proposal on the table saying that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, which to me sounds like a proposal. She like, nope, not happening. We not doing that. So you can forget it, period, point blank. And she said the reason why is because since Brooke is not available, this is why you want me. And then what happens? Brooke shows up over at the house. They had a meeting that he forgot about. And so he broke the news to her that, the whole thing with me and Katie is out because she thinks that since you're not available, I'm the reason, or that's why I'm asking her to be with me. And so that leads into that Friday spoiler that I talked about on my spoiler video, where Katie and Brooke have a conversation, and I guess we'll see tomorrow Brooke trying to reassure Katie that she don't want Bill, and all this stuff is going on, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Katie, you went through all of that. Why did you go through the month of August? Wait a minute, let me go back. July, August, and part of September to get Poppy out the way. You accused that girl of something that she didn't do to put her in jail. And then you realize that it was her daughter, Luna. However, Poppy's no longer around for the moment, I guess. And then the man asks you, I want you part of my life. And she like, nope, not happening. So I'm like, okay, you know what, Katie, just leave him alone. Stop popping up over at the house. Stop taking up space over there. Just talk to him in regards to your son. And by the way, she did not bring up the fact that her son will be over at over at Forrester as an intern. I'm like, you just moving separately. I'm like, girl, you so shady. And I'm giving her a side eye too. Kit Kat said I'm taking a break now from doing things. I can't stay on live long, but okay, no problem, Kit Kat. What will it do if the bedroom line? I don't know. That's crazy. I don't understand. They need to fix the problems with the bedroom line before they can actually merge it with the line that's making money. Why would you do that? But Carter obviously is trying to work whatever angle, which, yeah, trying to save Hope's line. But yeah, Katie obviously is going to have a conversation with Brooke tomorrow. And this is where Brooke is going to reinforce that, no, I'm not interested in Bill. Go get your man, girl. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm Team Ridge. Speaking of Team Ridge and Taylor. So that is the other storyline that we had this week. She had the blood test today. There is no heart failure. And that ties into that spoiler about Taylor being skeptical. Okay, it's not that it's coming from her mouth. She ran tests. Her levels are fine. You had no issues. But they want to call it broken heart syndrome. Now, I do know that does exist. I do know that does exist. However, when did she start having it? Was she just out rollerblading and had, this broken heart syndrome happen? Or did it start happening when she saw Brooke and Ridge in Rome a month and a half ago? You know what I mean? Bobby Wright, yeah, they're pretty much saying it's all in her head. I mean, her and Sharon need to hang out together. Sharon got things going on in her head, seeing Cameron Kirsten, and Taylor got things going on in her head that, she's brokenhearted, which is why she is having those symptoms. Oh, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate you too being here, Kit Kat. No problem. Listen, I don't like medical storylines. So for me, hold on. I lost there we go. I don't like medical storylines like that. If that's the case, I would be watching Grey's Anatomy or ER or something on demand. So for me, that was my computer, guys. I had to replug it. For me to switch this away from this, I'm ready to move from the storyline anyway. I didn't want to go through what we went through with Eric last year. So if it's not what this is, that's good news. And I'm okay with that. If she don't have what she thought she had, I'm okay with that, because if I know people that probably were, sitting across from their doctor, were probably hoping that that's all it was. So if I was her and you ran the blood test and her levels are fine, there's nothing going on, you having an emotional disturbance, I think you would be a little bit happy about that. Why do you want that to be the case? You know what I mean? And I mean, now I do understand you guys saying this storyline is a joke, because now it puts Taylor back in this whole I'm brokenhearted over Ridge thing again. You know what I mean? So I don't know if when Krista left last year to go back overseas, was she devastated then? And I mean, did she hear about the proposal? Well, they did originally have a proposal, because remember earlier this year, Brooke was supposed to be designing her own wedding gown, right? But is she crushed from what happened when we had Krista, and then she went overseas and she's been devastated about not having Brooke? Lord, about not having Ridge. And that's when she started having the stressful emotional disturbances. And then she went to the doctor or clinic, and the clinic is like, oh, yeah. I would think the clinic would have ran blood tests too, but it doesn't seem like it. And so we got an actual cardiologist here with Dr. Buckingham, and she delivered the shocking news that, you got broken heart syndrome. So, I mean, it should be, part of me is like, good news. But the other part of me is like, do we have to do this triangle again? Because now Ridge is sitting in that room and he's like, oh my God, you're brokenhearted. I did this to you. And now we're creating that whole triangle again between Brooke Taylor and Waffle King Ridge. Waffle King Pinecone Poppy Ridge. And that Pinecone Poppy, that credit goes to Bree. Yep. So, I mean, if I was Taylor, I'd be like, okay, that's good news. And if you're skeptical, run the test again. Go get a third opinion. Call one of the other cardiologists on that list and say, hey, I had this result. I had this. Another cardiologist said I had this. Can you check one more time? And if they all tell you, if 2 out of the 3 are saying your levels are fine, you haven't had anything going on, you need to accept this as a win. I'm okay with that storyline. What I'm not okay with about this storyline is putting her back into a triangle. That's what I'm not feeling right now. I mean, if you're going to have Taylor be on set like this, give her a new man. Bring a new guy on. Something. Do not throw her back into this triangle with Ridge. Yeah. Jenna said that he promised Steffy that he would protect Taylor's heart when they were in Aspen. Yeah, he did say that. And I agree, Indigo Blue. Find Taylor a new man. But Ridge like women fighting over him. And I don't think they're going to find her a new man, because the reason that she's having this issue is because she's brokenhearted over Ridge. Which means she still got feelings for Ridge. And we heard her had a conversation with Steffy last week. So, part of me, I'm like, okay, we don't have to go through what we went through with Eric last year. And the other part of me is like, please don't put her in a triangle. So, if I had to give it a grade for today, I'm going to give it a solid C. Because other than that, it was pretty regular. I was looking forward to the scenes between Carter and Hope. I could care less about Katie and Bill especially Katie playing games. And I was curious to find out about what the diagnosis is. And then again, part of me, I'm like, okay, cool. Nothing wrong with her. She just needs to stop stressing over this man. You know. So, I don't know, Taji. Taji said, does it mean if Ridge spends time with Taylor, Brooke will go after Bill? They better not start that mess. Then Katie was right. If Ridge start keeping up with Taylor, Brooke is not going to like that. And if Brooke decided to break up with Ridge, will Bill be back over there sniffing around her? You know, so I don't know. They need to figure out what they want to do. It's just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I see some C minuses, some D's, some F's. Y'all wasn't feeling today's episode, huh? Yeah, Angela, I agree with you. I'm glad because I didn't want to have to go through another, 2-3 months like we did this time last year, like with Eric. I didn't want to have to do that with Taylor. So if she's fine and it's just emotional, Miss Therapist, Miss Psychologist, that's something that is psychological. You would think she would have known that. Dr. Taylor Hayes, psychiatrist. Yeah, Gail. Yeah, I've heard of it too. I just don't like the fact that it's going to throw her back into a triangle. I'm glad that it's nothing major. Because she should be dancing out of that office. Anybody else that think that they were given a diagnosis like that and then come to find out it wasn't what it was, she should be dancing out of that office. But now she's going to be skeptical. Why? Do you want sympathy? You want fake attention from Ridge to make him think there's something wrong with you? So, I guess we'll have to see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see what happened with Hope and Carter. And this skepticism that Taylor's going to have in this conversation between Brooke and Katie. So, all that's going down tomorrow. Alright? Alright, you guys. I am going to end it right there. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video has been posted. I am T from Soap Corner Talk. And until the next one, we'll see you all soon. Bye, my soapies.